What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video, and welcome to your stimulus package update and daily news report for Friday, April 8th. So we have a lot of stuff that we need to discuss, and the majority of it is surrounding additional stimulus and relief for the American people. What I can tell you right now is we are not done. We are not done because there are many lawmakers, both senators and representatives, that believe we need additional assistance. Now, I've been talking about this for the past couple years, and here's the thing that we're hearing now is progressives are finally admitting to the fact that they asked for too much. They were not willing to compromise early on. Some Democrats are saying we do need to pass more because if we don't, we will lose in the midterm elections. Then we got Republicans that say yes, the American people do need more. We do need to provide more assistance and relief, but at what cost? So, a lot of stuff to discuss. Let's get right into it. So over the past week or two, we've been getting a lot of new reports as to what went wrong with the Build Back Better Act and why Democrats are struggling to pass it now. Well, one Senate aide stated that there was a timeline that was known, but it wasn't talked about. And they say that this was right before the U.S. pulled out of Afghanistan. They say what happened was there should have been a deal, but a deal was not done. It would have needed to be done before then because that was the turning point, and many lawmakers expected this. If President Biden did pull out of Afghanistan, this would have been a turning point. It would have changed his polling numbers. It would have changed the outlook on the U.S., and that's exactly what happened. We also heard from Representative Ro Khanna, and he stated almost this exact same thing, that yes, Afghanistan was a turning point. But he also said that progressives made the mistake of not compromising with Senator Joe Manchin much earlier than they tried. And now he says that if Democrats don't get a deal on climate before the midterm elections, then they might not get another chance at it for quite some time. Now, this isn't just a deal for climate. That's mainly what people are discussing, but that's not the only thing that's on the table. This will also have some social spending included. Not a lot, but some. So progressives do understand what is on the line here. And the problem right now is that what many are saying is that they waited far too long to negotiate directly with Senator Joe Manchin and directly with Senator Kyrsten Sinema. So right now, they may not be able to make something work, but they're not going to give up hope. Now, one of the other big changes that has come from all of this drama surrounding the Build Back Better Act is that jobs have started to come back. This was one of the big things that people were talking about is the jobs are not coming back as quickly as they should. We need to do more. We need to provide more assistance to those that can't get a job. There's no jobs available, right? Well, we now have an unemployment rate of 3.6%. We have some of the lowest weekly unemployment claims that we've seen in decades, which is great. It means people are not getting laid off as much as they used to. We have more than 10 plus million job openings right now, and employers are regaining more power than the employees. And I said this probably 6 to 8 months ago, is that if you want to have all the power, if you are an employee, then now is the time to ask for a raise, for more benefits, for better working conditions. That was the time was 6 months ago. Now that interest rates are going up, that we are continuing to see inflation go up, prices for housing, for fuel, for food, for medications, everything is going through the roof. This puts the power back into the employer's hands, not the employee. So again, you may have missed out on some stuff, but you still have a little bit of power as an employee, just not in every industry. Now, I've also seen multiple reports over the past couple of weeks talking about how employers are actually done with working from home and the work from home narrative. What they're saying is that right now they are almost going to require employees to get back into the office. And we saw a report just this morning that said 77% of employers are saying they will either fire you or cut your pay as a result for not returning to the office. That's big. Now, this is a huge blow to millions and millions of workers who like the changes that we saw during the pandemic. As somebody that does work from home, I do a lot of my stuff from home. I can tell you I absolutely love it, and I wouldn't want it any other way. But employers say that these changes are not going to stick, and we eventually have to return to normal, which everybody says, yeah, let's get back to normal. But they also say, but let's continue to work from home. Let's continue to do Zoom meetings. That's what we're getting. So, if this wasn't enough to actually prevent Congress from passing another round of relief and assistance into the economy, well, and again, this is trying to address the climate situation, but we also have interesting reports coming out of the White House. Because what we heard from the White House National Economic Counsel, Brian Deese, he told reporters, and I quote, essentially, he told reporters that the best estimates are the lack of available semiconductors probably took a full percentage point off of the GDP in 2021. Okay? Why is that so important? That is so important because what we're seeing right now is we are seeing different discussions of new bills. A Chinese competitiveness bill is one of the big ones. Well, will this overtake any assistance? Will this overtake COVID relief? Will this overtake more for the American people and climate? It could. But again, guess what? This isn't the only problem. This isn't the end of all the problems that we're currently seeing. We are still seeing massive shortages of semiconductors. Okay? It's not just what we saw in 2021. It's what are we seeing today. So some are saying that right now, again, just this week, the White House began pushing Congress for another $52 billion in funding to subsidize production for semiconductors. Again, more funding. But this is why this is such a big deal because, and this is something that the White House even said, listen to this, and I quote, a significant interruption to our supply of semiconductors could cause historic damage to the U.S. economy. Damage far greater than the impact of chips shortages on the American auto industry right now, and would undercut our technological competitiveness and military advantages over adversaries globally. When we're in the middle of, we are not technically in the middle of a war, but we kind of are. We're kind of in the middle of this Russia and Ukraine war. Now, if we are losing our advantages, especially a military advantage, that's not something that's going to go over too well. So we could easily see more money dumped into the Pentagon. But if we dump more money into the Pentagon, but we still see chip shortages, is that really going to benefit us? Well, I don't know. But Brian Deese also said that both the Senate and the House have passed their own version of this competitiveness bill. But he says he's hoping that they can both get negotiators together and work out a compromise of both bills. Because right now, the Senate passed their bill, and it is not exactly what the House passed. The House doesn't really want to pass what the Senate passed. So that's kind of the issue. The plan is, as of right now, to get negotiations started on this competitiveness bill, but the negotiations were supposed to start this week. However, that looks like it got pushed back, and maybe negotiations will happen over the recess that they have over the next 2 weeks. So we'll see. Now, a lot of lawmakers are extremely worried about the direction of our economy, and they say that they understand that rates are rising, and they must in order to really slow down inflation. We know that. What we also know is that inflation is going to go up. We don't know how high. The report's going to come out next week, and so we'll see what happens from that. But lawmakers say that is something that they're looking at. Lawmakers say that they are seeing the writing on the wall of a cooling housing market, which is great for people that want to get in. But as far as spending, if you are, let's say you have a net worth of of $300,000, right? And most of that is from your house. Chances are you'll be more open to spending some of your savings because you have a backup plan. You got a house that's worth $300,000 more than what you owe on it. Now, if the housing market cools and your net worth drops, people are less likely to spend money that they do have. Again, major cause for concern. We also know many are seeing that lower income earners have yet to get back to pre-pandemic levels of income. This is a huge hit. And we're also seeing that people on Social Security are still struggling with the rising costs of food, fuel, and all goods, and their cost of living adjustment for 2022 was less than inflation to begin with. But I do have some good news. We have good news regarding people that are enrolled in Medicare Part B, because according to reports this week, Medicare is actually considering lowering the price that you pay for coverage. They say that the $22 increase in Medicare's Part B plan was pretty much just to cover, it's called Aduhelm, and it was an Alzheimer's drug. Now, due to the fact that they are limiting the use of this medication, the premiums for roughly 56 million people could be reduced by a little bit over $11. So that could be some good news for people that are struggling right now because they don't have a lot of excess money. But this is also a huge issue for Democrats as well, because they are saying right now that over the past year that they've been promising that they will lower prescription drug prices. So if Medicare Part B doesn't get a reduction in price or the premium, that's going to hurt them, because they are saying that it's going to be really tough to explain this to the American people that, yeah, we're fighting for to lower your costs, but at the same time, Medicare got more expensive for something that you may or may not ever use. Again, major issues. But let's address the House's new $55 billion bill that they did pass just the other day. And this would actually replenish the American Rescue Plan grant for restaurant assistance. What the House wants to do is they want to provide money to small businesses that have been impacted by COVID negatively. $42 billion would go towards the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, and the other $13 billion would go towards other businesses. Reports do indicate that more than 90,000 bars and restaurants have closed since this pandemic first started about 2 years ago, but Republicans say that yes, some do need more assistance, but this is a very tough sell to use new money. And we even heard from Senator John Thune just yesterday, and he had this to say, and I quote, "Right now it's hard because you saw, even with the $10 billion package, new money for COVID, unless you can reprogram or repurpose, it's going to be a hard sell." And that's the issue. It doesn't matter if it's for COVID, it's for restaurants, it's for the American people, it's for climate, right? It doesn't matter what it is. The problem is Republicans are not going to support a bill that brings or pretty much takes new money and spends it, because we do have a deficit that is massive. And many people are looking at that and saying, we cannot add to that. So we'll see what happens. But as of right now, there's a lot of stuff going on over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be interesting to see what actually goes on, because, again, the Congress is on recess for 2 weeks. So are we going to see something pass? No. Are we going to see negotiations continue? That is my guess and my expectation, especially with as little that's got done over the past month. I would assume people are still going to negotiate, but at the same time, how far will these negotiations actually go? Well, we'll find out very soon, because again, their recess starts at the end of business day today. So thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.